Congratulations on earning this assignment, Commander. I am Captain Georgy Kukov, Chief of Field Operations for this region. Beyond this river lies Germany. Tomorrow our attack begins. For today, you have guard duty. See to it that nothing happens to the base or to the command center. The Allies have been moving closer and closer to our position. Watch out for sneak attacks. If conflict erupts, you have permission to take the fight to them. See you in Berlin.
Welcome back, Commander.
Building.
Acknowledged.
I know I mentioned it the last video, but I still really enjoy the Soviet briefings.
Affirmative.
There's just something about having them already show 2 different locations, like 4 different characters. What's not to like?
Of course.
Oh, and we have the Wonder Dog now.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Very well.
I always found that dogs had a limited window of opportunity to do anything with.
Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Yes, sir. At once. Of course.
It just kind of sucks because after a certain while, attack dogs are more deterrents rather than anything else, and the AI just, in single-player missions, doesn't really ever do anything to merit them anyways.
Very well.
Cannot deploy. Construction options.
Like, the most I could say for an attack dog is, one, they're useful in certain, like, limited or no production missions, just because, hey, that's all you got. Or, you know, the map's kind of designed around it a little bit.
Ready. Training.
And secondly,
Training. Building.
like, sometimes they're good for being like a sort of spy slash like unit you can just toss around on the map.
Unit ready.
It's obviously not the most cost efficient thing to do, but
Able to complete.
on the plus side,
Training.
they can be fast if you spot enemy infantry. I got nothing really.
Training. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Training.
So this level is
Training.
rather easy. There's no real way to mess this up as the player. You're given tons of
Complete.
money. You have a rather decent setup, even on the opposite variant of this mission.
Training.
And your goal is fairly simple.
Training. Unit ready. Construction.
There's some barrels thrown about here and there, but honestly, they don't really affect like how the mission plays out.
Building.
Acknowledged.
You can buy yaks,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
as evidenced by me doing just that exact thing. However, because you don't get the ability to purchase more airfields, you're limited to 2.
Acknowledged.
And
Yes, sir.
the Allies have a number of rocket soldiers, so really,
Agreed.
I don't know, I always feel like it's better just to not have any whatsoever.
Acknowledged once.
If you really wanted to, you could build a second refinery, but I don't really think it's all too necessary.
Saved.
So, here's what can happen when doing the Space Jam maneuver.
Unit lost.
Alright, let's see if maybe I can do this right this time.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Of course.
Lost.
So, yeah, it's not an exact science, and unfortunately, you can never really have enough grenadiers where the damage you would do is beneficial in any real way. You can't have, like, if you do the animation once, that's it. Like, the game doesn't record the end state and just keep doing the glitch. You have to manually do it. And on top of that, you explode all your units, generally more than you don't, because
Mission loaded.
grenadiers still have a very small range. So what ends up happening is
Mission saved.
you have,
Reporting.
say, a couple grenadiers that, because they're closer, throw their grenades before all the others.
Unit
At
ready.
once.
And because of the time difference, even though it's very slight, in such a large group, you end up having that no matter what. And as you can see, you end up killing your own guys more often than not. Another issue with the glitch is that the accuracy is shit. Like, it's very similar to a cruiser, in that if you don't get it just right, you end up missing your target. Which just makes, subsequent attempts that much deadlier. Because now you're trying to juggle, basically targeting a building not where it is, but where your grenadiers might be able to throw stuff to. Basically, it's just a really bad science, and you're better off just not attempting it in the first place.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Agreed. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well.
And while grenadiers are always nice to have, and I've always treated them as the bane of my existence or the enemy's existence, I think having large groups is kind of self-explanatory as to why it's not a good idea.
Waiting. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Reporting. Of course, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
On the plus side, though, when you do actually manage to do anything with a large group, it feels pretty cool.
Report, sir.
I know in a previous video I mentioned stuff with Badger Bombers. The reason why Paradrops suck, and maybe it'll be easier to explain later on, but there's just no customizability to them when the player has them. So it kind of makes them, I don't know, the effectiveness of them could be higher. Oh, and in case it wasn't obvious, yeah, Scatter's back. It's always a roll of the dice, though, so you never quite know if your unit's going to make it out or not. The AI is usually way more efficient, but I also don't believe that it ever... how do I put this? Like, it doesn't scatter so much as it just micros everything.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative.
Those brave dogs.
Mission
Affirmative.
accomplished.